There we go. Okay, so we are live. This is our November Move Experts webinar. And today we are very excited to have Hannah Crane, our lovely marketing director, talking to us about marketing and social media. So, how all of our chapters are engaging on social media and what our branding looks like across all of the US. So I'll let Hannah take it away from here. Woohoo!
Hi, I'm Hannah. I apologize for my lack of face on this, but I will do a screen share, and that's what will be our presentation for today. I do want to ask real quick, Adele and Kimberly, how you would like to go about questions. I was thinking about just kind of doing my spiel, and then we'll turn it into a more collaborative, conversational type presentation after that. So I'll kind of get through all the basic things, and then we can turn it into a more productive conversation based on what everybody needs. Does that work?
Yeah, that sounds great. Absolutely.
Do we want to wait for any more people, or shall I just go for it?
I'd say go for it. I'll send out this link to everyone afterwards and make sure people watch it.
Okay, excellent.
Thanks.
Well, let me first do our screen share, but let me pull up a document real fast. What I'm going to do is actually walk us through the updated branding guidelines handbook. And this will kind of act as like a PowerPoint presentation. So let me start that screen share. It worked earlier, so let's hope it's still working.
If not, we can also pull it up on here, Hannah.
Yes. Yay, we see it.
Okay, fabulous. So let me first show you how you find this. So if you're on the Movement Exchange homepage, you just logged on to movementexchanges.org. There's a join section, so if you hover over join, and at the very bottom of that menu is this chapter resources page. And we're going to do a little tour of this page as well, because this is really your central location for anything that you would need for your chapter. And so part of our conversation will be about what's working, what's not working, what's missing from this page. But this is really an excellent resource for you. So what we'll be looking at today to start with is this MoveX branding and social media guidelines. So if you click on that download PDF button, it will open up in a separate window with this document. So let's do it. So basically, I'm going to do an overview, kind of like what we did at our retreat over the summer, just a very abbreviated version of that. And our retreat was really insightful for me and for everybody else because, we talked about things that us in the national org, we don't really know about on the chapter level. So we talked about social media, talked about some standardizations. So all of those conversations have been implemented into this brand book. So let me just tell you what this thing is. So branding guidelines, why is it important? So just to read this little thing, we put these branding guidelines together to assist you and your chapters on how to implement and execute the Movement Exchange brand. I like to explain to people, a brand is much more than a logo. Yes, we have our logo, we have this cute little Movement Exchange design, and then you as a chapter, you have your own chapter logo, but it's much more than that. It's all about how we present ourselves, how we represent ourselves. And what's kind of cool about your opportunity as a chapter, you are like ambassadors of this larger mission. You are your local ambassador of everything that Movement Exchange does all over the world. So that's pretty cool, and you get to localize it and personalize it. But there are some standards that we need to uphold because we don't want to be all telling different stories, right? And that was something that everybody really respected and was excited about over the summer when we were at the retreat. Let's all be one community, and how can we do that through the way that we speak, through the way that we represent ourselves visually, and yeah. So this is the book. The book is, it's not the end-all be-all the answers to everything, but it's a good place to go. It's a good start to familiarize yourself with everything that we've put together. So I'll just run through this. Our brand story, you can read these things on your own time, but essentially these are helpful ways to talk about what we do. And And I think something that's really important for us to talk about today is I'll skip pages, we'll go back if we need to, is a new part to this brand book is these key terms. And this is something that we discussed over the summer, and we came to a consensus that these are the things that we want to prioritize and the words that we want to use. So I remember back when I was a chapter president, I was throwing around different words because it was kind of, maybe you've had the same experience. Sometimes it's difficult to put into words what you do. Because it is really multidimensional. You know, you're working locally, you're working internationally. Oh, we go on exchanges, we do also local community service, we hold events, all these things. So it can get a little complex. So we want to assist you in the way that we speak about the things that we do. So let's just like run through these really quick. A big one that I've noticed over the years that we just really want to like, let's fix this is MoveX. Our abbreviation. This is the official style guide of how we should spell that out. So it's move-EX. So that's our abbreviated organization name. Also, Dance Diplomat is not capitalized. There's a little definition here. International dance exchanges. So instead of saying Panama Exchange, international trip, dance exchange, we want to be very clear about these are international dance exchanges. And that's something that really sets us apart from other programs. So let's kind of make that language consistent. International dance service. So we decided that instead of saying outreach is more so describing our advocacy or like, establishing partnerships. But service is like the work that we do. So whenever we're talking about being active in our communities, being active internationally, we're saying dance service. Underserved communities, describing those communities, at-risk youth. We talked about that, like, we say that pretty frequently, but it should only be in the context of something more formalized. You're writing a grant, an application. That's not really suitable for social media. So we'll go to social media pretty soon. But for example, on social media, you would want to call people dancers, right? Our whole purpose here is to legitimize everyone as a dancer, break down the barriers. So let's not call, our students in our local outreach class or our local dance service, workshops, they're not at-risk youth. They're dancers. Everybody is a dancer. And then lastly, cross-cultural understanding. What's really important about that is just how we spell it, how it's hyphenated, and how you can use it. So yeah, any questions about that just for now?
One thing I'll say really quickly is that I know I catch myself saying like international dance trip sometimes. I've written that a few times. So I think that's one thing to really get away from is that anybody who's been on this trip knows that I just did it again. This exchange knows that it's more than just a trip. It really is about that exchange. That's, like Hannah was saying, that's what gives us kind of that edge. It's not just, hey, let's go see Panama and maybe take a dance class. It's like, it's really about what you're giving and receiving and how that's informing how you go back into your local community. So I think that's going to be a hard habit for a lot of people to get out of, but it's an important one.
Uh-oh. Starting the oven there. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Adele.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely not trying to police people. So,
Yeah.
Oh gosh, you said trip,
Yeah.
F for you. But no, we're really just trying to actually help you. So if you're struggling for the words to describe what you do, actually, refer back to these tools that we have for you and the ways that you can present that. So moving on, just running through the resources that you have in this book. Let's see. So we do have this fun little word cloud that we actually was created from the first retreat, which was 2 summers ago. I held kind of like a stakeholder workshop, which basically means I ask a whole bunch of questions to all the people who were there, and we came up with these words to describe who we are. because we kind of, Movement Exchange was in an existential crisis about 2 years ago, and this book has at least helped us in finding the ways that we want to move forward and how we want to represent ourselves. So these words, again, these are not, you're not actually going to use these in your writing. These are more the descriptive words to inspire how you speak. Yeah, so just letting you know what that is. We have talking points. This is actually up to date, and these are figures that are from our 5-year report, which we will also look at that because that's another great resource for you. The 5-year report going from 2010 to 2015, these numbers are pretty impressive, and especially for a chapter, I always found myself kind of struggling to legitimize the work that I do. Maybe you've ran into that before or encountered that where, you know, maybe on your campus, I know that at Indiana University in Bloomington, Global Brigades was really established and still is, and people recognized that, and that was, people kind of held that to a high standard. And when I, you know, explained, oh, actually, we go to Panama as well, and we do this, you know, we're not providing medical services, but we are, you know, providing arts education, people didn't really, you know, they didn't always respond and think that that was legitimate. But now that we have these facts and figures, this is something that you can show, look, there, it's credible. We have, you know, something to back up, some evidence to show what we're doing. So that may be helpful to you. Tough questions, again, something that you may run into, you know, how can dance actually make a difference in the world? Why is dance important? How does participating in one exchange per year with your university chapter, how is that sustainable? And then the last question about, you know, hey, people in the United States need help too, need arts education. So what is Movement Exchange doing? So these are just like the 4 probably most common questions that you may encounter, even just talking to parents, that these answers, these of course are not, like I said, this is not the Bible, so to speak. You know, this is up for interpretation and you can add your own personal perspective, but these sort of scripted answers are for you to reference and to help you shape your response, especially for chapter presidents or a public relations director. You know, you're going to be challenged with these questions quite frequently, so this can help you. Again, elevator pitch, also up for interpretation. We want you to customize this to your own experience. However, this again is another thing you can reference.
Hi, Emma.
Hi.
Glad you're able to join.
Yeah.
Just to fill you in a little bit, Hannah, she's our marketing director. She's going through our brand book right now. So she's updated that for this school year. And we just went over a few key terms and tough questions in our word cloud. So she'll keep going a little bit, but you can go back and look at those a little bit later.
Okay.
Yay, glad you could make it.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Hey, Emma, thanks for joining. Good, that gave me a chance to plug in my charger because I realized I was about to die. So anyway,
You were about to die.
I was about to die. But thank you, Emma. You saved my life. So this elevator pitch, basically what an elevator pitch is, pretend you're in an elevator and you have about 20 to 30 seconds tops to explain to something or explain to someone what Movement Exchange is, what you do. So, you know, how do you fit all of the amazing things that we do into that time? So this is just a basic guideline for you. And what I was saying before is just like the social media guidelines that we're about to go through, we want you to be creative. We want you to find your own voice, find your own personality, but there are some kind of standards that you should be aware of so that we're speaking consistently. Cool? So we talk about logos a lot, and how I introduced this conversation was logos are not everything. Logos are not our brand in its entirety. Everything that we're talking about today, that's it all comes together to shape who we are and how we present ourselves. But the logos are important just so that you know how they should be used. So the master logo should only be used by Movement Exchange. And I think everybody's been doing an excellent job by just using their chapter logo. So this just breaks down the master logo. And then here's some best practices. I have seen some of this stuff done over the years, some still kind of recently, and so we're trying to, I don't want to say again police, but just kind of be cautious of alterations. So for example, we don't want to change the colors. I know you may want to change it to your university colors, but there are other ways to show your school spirit, I promise. You don't want to distort the logo. I even explained here, if you hold down the shift key and expand, the proportions will remain the same. And then also you don't want to place your logo on any crazy backgrounds. So those are some examples. So your chapter logo, we create this for you. Everybody's been using this pretty well. You should have access on Drive, but I will also walk through the website and show you where you can get that from anywhere at any time. So it is really easy to get. Colors, just quickly, we have a color palette. I know it looks kind of minimalist, but that's okay because we do, rely on photography a lot to bring in a lot of colors. Plus, it's nice to be clean and simple. So we have our primary palette, which is the orange and the aqua, and then those secondary colors. So it may be tempting to throw in some purple or whatnot, but just calm it down. Designs with fonts. This, I think, is actually more common that I see people using different font. It's not the end of the world, of course, but again, it's just trying to standardize these things. So this breaks down how you should use that. Photos. This is kind of relevant since we'll talk about social media. We broke down kind of like the 3 categories that you should look for. Photos should always be of people moving and interacting. Yes, there will be posed pictures. That's totally fine, especially on social media if you just want to share a picture of your chapter hanging out, watching a movie, whatnot. But as far as promoting the work that we do, it's great to show people moving, dancing, engaging. That's what we're all about, right? So there's like 3 levels. You could do a portrait where it's showcasing an individual, an interaction where it's kind of a medium shot where you show just a couple people or a small group of people, and then environmental where it's a wide shot. Some graphic elements. These are for the people who maybe you have somebody in your chapter who is a designer, maybe loves design, has access to Adobe Creative Cloud, things like that. If they want to get creative, we totally encourage that. But we would love to see your designs before you make them public, and we would also love to see them so we can share them with other chapters because, like we'll talk about in a few minutes, we can't produce everything, and sometimes we don't know what you always need. So we'll talk about some of those materials that you may want, but sharing with other chapters that could maybe alleviate that and help that out. These are also available on the website, so I'll show you that. All right, so any questions before I get into social media? No? Feeling good? Okay. So social media, I think this is the one that's most relevant to everybody because that's the way that you are engaging with people the most outside of your immediate chapter and your community partners. So let's talk about just some standardization, some kind of, I'll call them rules, even though we're not trying to be strict here, but just some ways to create consistently across all the chapters. So if you're not aware, we do have 23 chapters now. So that's a lot of accounts, and it would be great if it's easy. I'm sorry, can somebody go on mute?
I think Emma.
Yeah, it might be me. I'm sitting in a hallway.
Oh, that's why.
Sorry.
If you
No, it's
go
okay.
to your,
There
do you
you
see the black? Yeah, perfect. And
Yeah.
we'll put ours on mute just in case too.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I swear I'm not a diva. I'm kind of ADHD. So anyway, so for social media, there are 23 chapters now. So if everybody has a Facebook page, if everybody has an Instagram, and we aren't all named the same way, for example, it's going to be really difficult to search for those. And I know for the national org, we want to stay engage. We want to stay on top of what you guys are doing. So this is a way for us to make sure that we're, staying engaged and aware of everything that's going on. So just to briefly read through this quickly, and this all stems from, like I said, our retreat this summer. So we talked about all of these things, and we came to an agreement. So I swear this isn't just me making stuff up, though it feels like it sometimes, but we all agreed. So as a chapter, social media is a great way for you to show your unique identity within this master organization. So, this book makes it kind of, or this brand handbook, it makes it feel like sometimes maybe that we're trying to put you in a box, or, oh, you have to use this profile picture, you have to use this thing. Actually, not really. We're just trying to, like I said, create some standardizations, but social media is so beautiful because that's where you can really shine and find your unique chapter identity. So some ways that social media is awesome, and I know McKinsey can probably attest to this, you can recruit new members, attract potential donors, promote your upcoming events, international dance exchanges, engage with other university chapters in the national org. And that's something that we really focused on over the summer at our retreat is, we want to use this as a way to connect with others. And then also stay connected with your alumni. So like I said, even though we want you to get creative, here are some things that you should keep in mind. So everybody should have a Facebook page. That's our central platform. Movement Exchange mainly operates and communicates on Facebook. And the reason for that is Facebook is the most versatile of platforms. Think about all the things that you can do on Facebook. We can create events, share photos, videos, tag. It's really very broad and general in the ways that you can interact with it. And it's also easy to search. It's easy to find other chapters. So, and also most people are on Facebook too. And then the little question that I added here, can my chapter have an Instagram and or a Twitter account too? Yes, of course, you definitely can. But I do want you to consider some things before doing that. Do you have the resources and the content to maintain them? It does take a little bit of extra work if you're going to have multiple channels, multiple platforms. So for example, if you guys have excellent photos, if you have somebody who loves taking pictures, loves taking videos, then you will probably do well on Instagram. And you want to post about once a week on Instagram. And think about Instagram as like an art gallery. It's not like Snapchat where it disappears, and it's not like Facebook where you can kind of just keep loading your news feed and your timeline with stuff. Instagram, it just stays there, and somebody can just walk in and peruse your gallery. I don't know about you, but I scroll through Instagram for hours and I don't realize it. So I'm sure people are going to your pages and doing the same thing. So in that respect, you want the best materials on your Instagram, right? I would recommend, you probably don't want to put a flyer or something there. You want to show something that really reflects your personality or reflects the things that you're doing. So I did want to pull up some awesome Instagram pages, and it just happens that Western Michigan University is represented today, but I did select your Instagram account as an example of one that we can look at. Everybody can see this, correct? So, and also they have the correct naming convention, so we'll talk about that in a second as well. But I just want to scroll through here. What I love about Western Michigan University's Instagram account is I feel like I know these people, right? Like I'm getting to know them. I love the creativity here. I loved this bowling night. Boomerang is like way too much fun, so I would really encourage you to play around with that. I think Boomerang is perfect for movement exchange because we're all about movement and kind of breaking the mold of what that looks like. So I think that's a really fun way to showcase that without posting a whole video, because I know some people are great with video, and we'll look at some chapters that have some strong video, but that's not always easy to load. It may take a while, or you don't have somebody who's super comfortable with editing, whatnot. So that's a great option. So just wanted to point out WMU as an excellent example. I think FSU's been doing really well too. They've been posting a lot of videos. They're promoting some events. getting creative. So good stuff there. UIUC. I think it's great to have a mixture of videos and photos. And, well, anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm really enjoying your Instagram pages. I'm getting lost here. We'll look at Facebook too. I think UC San Diego does an excellent job on Facebook, so if you want to check them out. I think what really stands out about these accounts are their timeliness. They're keeping up. They're posted yesterday at 12 p.m. So that's why I really encourage you, if you're going to have multiple accounts, make sure you can maintain those, right? So, and then again with Twitter, actually Twitter is very different. That's something that you should be posting like every day on. Twitter is all about timeliness and getting out there. So if Twitter is relevant in your campus and community, go for it. I've found that Facebook and Instagram are better accounts or better platforms for movement exchange. But then again, if that is suitable for your chapter and will benefit your chapter, go for it. Anyway, that was on the topic of accounts, but I did want to talk about these naming conventions real quickly. We talked about this over the summer and we all agreed, okay, let's do this. Let's get it together, because when we only had like 4 university chapters, it didn't really matter that they all had different Facebook names, but now it does, because now we have 23. So it's important that your Facebook, it is Movement Exchange at your full university name. I know that there are some exceptions where, for example, UC Irvine, it wouldn't really make sense to spell out University of California, Irvine. That's a little weird. So it's okay that you're doing UC Irvine. We'd probably like to talk to you about it first, but yeah, as a general rule, Movement Exchange at your full university. And then for Twitter and Instagram, your handle will be your abbreviated university name _MoveX. And that's not with 2 E's, just 1 E, because if it was 2 E's, it'd be like MoveX. So we decided not to do that. And then your profile picture should be the official image that we provide you. So that includes your chapter's logo. And I think everybody's been doing that. We got Western Michigan University's got theirs, UC Irvine, San Diego. So these are examples of those profile pictures. And as you see, we give you some variations. I know it's not a wide variation. There's gray, black, white as your backgrounds. We can explore some other options moving forward, but for now, it's just great to have some standardization. I hope you agree. And then questions about the cover photo. So for example, on UC San Diego, they already have their #GivingTuesday cover photo, which is great. If you want to do those things, use the cover photos that we provide you, excellent. But if you feel like, actually we have some great photography, we would like to showcase our chapter, want to show what we did in Panama or locally, sure, go ahead. We love that, but just make sure you have, a quality image to put there. Anything you guys want to bring up here before I go to the next page? Because the next page is mostly about kind of best practices. Anything you want to talk about with social? You can unmute. No? Feeling good? Can I pick on you, Mackenzie, really quick? I shouldn't say pick on you. But I'm glad that we have a social media person here tonight, and I also brought up your page. I just wanted to ask you, what have you found to be maybe successful, maybe some challenges, anything that you want to bring up in that area?
I think sometimes it can be a challenge to find like quality photos, just because most of the photos that we have are taken on phones. And then so also having something to post. We try and post every Monday and Friday. That was like our goal at the beginning. It kind of has like faded a little bit, so we're trying to like get back more into another regular routine. But just like having quality photos to post, I think, is like the hardest part.
Yeah.
But then when you like have those like fun events where you can like just have a random post every once in a while, that's like pretty successful. So
Definitely. And, that's why we encourage Facebook to start. You know, if you're a new chapter, hey, welcome. We encourage Facebook because Movement Exchange, the national org, posts a lot. You can share our posts. Facebook is a lot easier to track your chapter members' activity, so you can share their posts. So we'll talk about that as well. So that's why we encourage you to start with Facebook. There tends to be more users there, more of your chapter members are there. So with Instagram, with the photos, I think you've been doing a pretty darn good job with just iPhone pictures, just so you know. And that's totally acceptable. I mean, that's what Instagram is for, right? You're supposed to take pictures with your phone and post them. So there's no problem with that. However, it's more about the frequency, right? You're like, oh gosh, I'm supposed to post Friday, but I don't really have a picture. So that's why we do have an inventory for you to choose from. It's not super extensive, and it is just from Panama, and it is from Movement Exchange, the national org, so it's not representative of your chapter. So we can look at that inventory. However, with your Instagram account or your any other platform, don't feel pressured to post, right? You're like, oh, we said Monday and Friday. Well, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. These platforms are meant to serve you, right? So keep those things in mind. But that's, again, just to go back to my original point, that's why we encourage Facebook. Instagram can maybe come if you're a more established chapter. I think that will kind of evolve as you guys evolve, right? And you'll have more people who are coming to your events. You'll have more people who are taking pictures. And then it kind of does boil down to who's responsible. That's amazing that WMU has a social media chair, somebody who's in charge. Again, to just pick on you, Mackenzie, one more time, how do you guys divide the responsibility? Do you have multiple contributors? How does it work?
For like our board or for
No, sorry, just
social media?
Just for social specifically. Is it you who's doing the posting, or do you have others help as well?
It's I'm the primary person, so I post on Instagram and Facebook, and then Galena and Madeline, I just added them as editors to the Facebook because Sarah Mills was our president last year, and so she was the admin, but she just switched that to me, and then so I could add Galena and Madeline as editors. So
great. And I want to talk with Kimberly and Adele about, what happens when you turn over to a new president or a new social media chair, somebody says, oh man, I know in my time as a PR director and president, we had a lot of issues with, we lost the login, or we don't know who has the password or whatnot. So that's something that we can also talk about. But it sounds like you guys have a good flow of communication, which is great.
Can I speak to that really quickly?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I was the chapter president of Florida State University's Movement Exchange chapter, so I just went through that whole transition process last year. And I think the biggest thing that you can do as a university chapter president before you leave, or even as like an executive board that's in that transition stage, is think about everything that you do before you leave. Think about, I post on social media 2 times a day or 2 times a week. If I need to transfer that power onto somebody else, what do I need to make sure that they can do it afterwards? And then by the end of the year, before the transition officially happens, I should probably add them to the Facebook page. So I think thinking about those things like in March or May or April or May, whenever you start to do those transitions, just start thinking about all of those little things that you do that they're going to need access to. Making sure you transfer that over before the fall semester so that nobody's scrambling.
Especially like email too, right? Because that's our main form of communication with the chapter. Another question for you, Hannah, that I had is, can you show them how they can get to, going back to the professional grade photos, can you show them how they can get to this inventory of photos that you're speaking about? Also, hi, Mary.
Yeah, hi, Mary.
How's it going?
Hey, Mary, I'm Hannah. I'm the mysterious voice behind this presentation. I swear I'm not mysterious. Let me actually let's do a little tour. Let's do a tour of the Movement Exchange website and this chapter resources page, because I think this is still kind of a mystery to some people. So let's take this opportunity to go through it. So if I am on the homepage of the Movement Exchange website, which will hopefully load, there it is. If I hover over join, and this is not, you don't want to come here, typically you wouldn't want to go here on your phone, so I recommend going here on your desktop or your laptop. So hover over join, chapter resources at that very bottom of the list there. Click on that, and it'll take you to this awesome page that has everything that you need, hopefully everything that you need. And so we have all of our handbooks here, this is where you can get that branding and social media guidelines book that we were just looking at. This is where we have recruitment, marketing, and fundraising materials. You can download these templates, and they're all in, I believe they're all in PowerPoint. And that was just the easiest way to share those designs with everybody, because not everybody has Creative Cloud or things like that. So PowerPoint is pretty universal. So there's all this great stuff. There's the logos and design tools. So these are actually, this all links you to Drive, so to public folders in the Drive. So for example, if you already have a chapter logo, you wouldn't click on order your chapter logo, you'd click on download your chapter logo, and that takes you to a public Drive folder, and you can find your chapter. So let's just use, since I'm at IU, let's just use IU as an example. Uh-oh, where are you at? Uh-oh. Why did I just pick IU? FSU. So you go to your full chapter logo. That's the one that has, your full name there, but your social media profile pic, that's what you would put on, Facebook or something. So anyway, so that's really easy to get to because it's right there, right? Then there's the brand fonts that I talked about, so that's also in Drive that you can download. There's the graphic elements if you want to download those. Then here, this is what we were just talking about, Panama photos. So again, they are just from Panama, and they are, of a variety of chapters. It's not from just your chapter. But if you just need a picture of, dancers dancing with children, well, this is a good place to go, right? So go here. Even though it says download photos, it's actually going to take you to a Drive folder. And it's divided by sort of categories of which that the subject of the photo is. So dancing action photos, group photos, Panama scenery, portraits, and post photos. So for example, if you go into dancing action photos, we have a variety of photos here that you can use. I think this is definitely worth our time to invest a little bit more as a national org to update those, put in more photos, because we have more to work with. It's just, that's quite the task. So we've tried to provide you at least a starter kit to get you going. So yeah, that's what we were talking about before. I think we will talk about apparel because that has come up a lot. So let me just run through that really quickly, just while I have it up here. So your chapter apparel, all that we have provided thus far are like chapter t-shirts. And I know WMU is looking to create t-shirts for an event. And so I was like, oh, wow, brilliant idea. You probably, want to have some options there to have a t-shirt for an event and not just shirts for your internal members, right? Just for your chapter. So what we have so far is just for your chapter. So on the front of your shirt would be your chapter logo. And I have seen quite a few chapters already do that, and it looks pretty awesome. And then there's the option for you, if you want to have a back to your shirt, we do have a design. It's like this little move to change design with a call to action to our website. So, and then you can always order just that National Org Movement Exchange apparel. But, if you as a chapter really want, your own digs, just go for it. But it is your responsibility to print those materials, purchase those items, but we can help you along the way. So Kimberly, yes, I answered your question and then some. So let's go back to this book. Does anybody want to jump in with any questions before I just kind of keep rolling?
I have a question.
Yes,
So
please.
for the logo, we download it and then like we take it to somebody in town and have them print it, or we order it from the website?
You will have to connect with a vendor. So if you want to do that in your, locally, if you know of some place, like for example, here in Bloomington, we have a printing company that I use quite frequently. That's an option, but then you can always just go online. I'm trying to think of some good options. I always love Vistaprint, but that's not always the best for t-shirts. I think actually
There's like University Tees or something like that. That's pretty good too.
Oh yeah, University Keys or something like that.
Yeah, universitytees.com is pretty good too.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, FSU always used a local vendor. Generally, what I've found is that local vendors are a little bit cheaper just because you don't have to pay for shipping fees. But online is totally doable as well. I think there's a few people who have done that. But yeah, so you use your logo and then go through another vendor and give them the logo to print on the t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
And the apparel that you choose, that's up to you. If you want a t-shirt, a v-neck, a tank top, bandana, I don't know what you want to do, that's totally fine, just as long as they are the approved colors. And for now, we're just doing very neutral backgrounds, so gray, black, and white. That way we don't have any crazy conflicts with the logo colors. If you have ideas, we're definitely open to them. You could even put your logo in the pocket, the shirt pocket area. Maybe you put it on the back of the shirt. I don't know, you can get creative, but as far as kind of those standard things, that way we don't get, tie-dye shirts with MoveX on the front. That's not really what we're looking for, right? Though that could be kind of cool, but for a later date. So yeah, any other questions about apparel? And I did want to bring up, I'm really glad that, I think it was Madeline from Western Michigan University, she reached out to me. Please just send me an email, send Adele, Kimberly, basically any MoveX contact that you have. Even your chapter mentor is a great resource. Reach out to them if you're looking to design anything, looking to print anything, and we'll help you out. And especially if you don't see what you need here, we can help create that with you. We just don't want something to magically appear on Facebook and we're like, oh, where did they get that? We weren't aware that they were printing something like that. So that would be really helpful to us, and I think it will be helpful for you too. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to the book real quick just to finish up about social media. I think we're good here, having a Facebook page, naming your account correctly. And this is a really easy fix, I've been told. You can go into your Instagram settings, change your handle, and it's no biggie. Your profile pictures, and then here's just some best practices to think about. Something that Adele and I just talked about is you should always tag Movement Exchange whenever you're posting, and even when you're just posting as your own person on your personal accounts. Why that's important is because we want to share what you're doing. That's kind of the whole idea of social media, right? Is to engage and for us to promote each chapter individually, and so that all the other chapters can see what you're up to. So, for example, for Move to Change Day, I know some of those posts weren't as easy to find because people weren't tagging. Maybe they were using hashtags, which is great, but I know for Facebook especially, you want to tag Movement Exchange. And that's why I put the handle here, @MovementExchange. That's our handle. On Twitter, it's a little bit different because back in the day, we couldn't put the EX in there. So it's Movement Exchange, okay? So that's on Twitter. But I think most frequently people are on Facebook and Instagram. Adele, did you want to add anything about that, or is that good?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit it right on, what is it? Hit it right on the nail. Is that what you say? But I'll just say, like, I'm managing the national org's social media, and I try to post about every day. And I'm sure, as you guys know, it's hard to come up with things to post. So, you know, if you guys are posting on Monday and Friday, or even just once a week, and tag us in it, I'll get a notification about it, take a screenshot of it, and try to share it later in the day or later in the week. So always tag us, because that's the easiest way for me as a social media MoveX person to know that you guys are posting about it, or what you guys are even doing on your campus. Sometimes, like, a random event will happen at one of your university chapters that maybe like you didn't write about in your monthly report or something, so we had no idea that it was happening, and then it's like this really cool thing. So always tag us so that we know what's going on.
Totally. Then just moving on here, you always want to post with some sort of content, so not just text. I have seen quite a few chapters, you know, just blast out a quick little text post on Facebook that's like, hey, we're meeting in this room. That's okay if it's kind of like a update people who are already active on your account, sure. But if it's to, you know, promote an upcoming event, anything like that, you'll want to always post a picture and or a video. Cool. Hashtags, use them. We love those hashtags. The two that you should use most frequently are hashtag move to change and just hashtag movement exchange. Then there are those special cases where it's hashtag MTC day, hashtag move to change day, things like that. We do encourage you. We were talking about a great way to get everybody kind of on the same page. Let's all do a MoveX Monday. And I even wrote down here at the bottom, you know, you should post at least once a week. So maybe you just post hashtag MoveX Monday. I know you don't want to have just a stack of those on your timeline, but if you are finding that it's challenging to post multiple times a week, at least once a week, do a hashtag MoveX Monday. That could be spotlighting a chapter member. It could be, you know, a flashback. Well, you could do a flashback Friday or a, you know, throwback Thursday, whatever you want. But this is just a good way to make sure that you're staying active, and then we can also engage with you, right? So when somebody searches hashtag MoveX Monday, they'll find your chapter and what you've posted. So yeah, there's also, I just wanted to bring up, you know, share the posts from Movement Exchange and your chapter members. So again, if you find yourself kind of struggling for content, like, oh, I have to post later today, what am I going to post? Well, first, I would say go to the Movement Exchange Facebook, Movement Exchange Instagram, see if you can share something that we've already posted. And I know that there are some fun apps. I think there's an Instagram share app because, you know, you can't just repost an Instagram post, but with a repost app, you could do that. But, you know, especially with Facebook, share the MoveX accounts. And then also share your chapter members' content, their postings, right? So encourage them to tag your chapter, to tag Movement Exchange in anything that they do, or use the hashtags. That way you can have something to work with. Anything about this? Any helpful tips maybe from my social media savvy friends? No? Feeling social? Okay. Was somebody about to say something, or am I good?
I think you're good.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to cut anybody off. So yeah, and then at the back of the book, you know, it says questions. If you want to reach out to Adele, if you want to reach out to myself, please do. Especially, like I said, there are a lot of questions about apparel, or, oh, hey, we have this special event coming up. We would love to have this thing. We can help you in those cases. And then a friendly reminder that you can access official MoveX marketing materials at movementexchanges.org on that chapter resources page. So I did want to quickly just show you here. Bless you. On the marketing, in the marketing section, we have a variety of things here. We have the call out flyer template. there was this trifold poster. So it's actually an 11 by 17 design that if you have access to a quality printer and a color printer, well, even black and white is fine. You could put that in the center of a trifold poster instead of maybe drawing the Move and Exchange logo. Even though some people are really good at that, and I applaud you. There's a presentation, a PowerPoint, brochure template, exchange flyer, blah, blah, blah. This event flyer, I think people should utilize this a little bit more, and it is in PowerPoint. So you can switch out photos, you can customize it, you can make it your own, but I think this would help you out because it already has the approved colors, it already has the approved text. So it's always great to start with these templates, and then you can customize as needed. And then it takes a lot of the work out of it for you. Again, if you have someone in your chapter who loves designing, who has a knack for that, let them, get creative, but this is a good place to start and making sure that you're following our guidelines. And then Adele has actually added your monthly PowerPoint presentations here, which also takes you to a Drive folder, which I think is BA. I wish I had this back in my day. Back in my day, we didn't have any of these fancy things. So really take advantage of this. This is great stuff. And then just because this is a fun document for you to use in the future, just want to show you this 5-year report. This is where we have all those facts and figures. If you're finding yourself needing to persuade, say, an administrator or somebody who could give you funding, anything like that, even a parent, you got to convince a parent sometimes, show them this document. It really legitimizes the work that we've done, and it breaks it all down, what we're all about. So peruse that at your leisure if you would like. But yeah, that's really all that I wanted to cover today. So do we want to get creative here and do some, brainstorming or questions, whatever you guys need, I'm open.
We've got a few minutes. We're like a little bit over time, but we started a little bit late. So I would just love to ask you guys kind of a twofold question. One, are you using those templates? Do you find them helpful? And then if not, what do you think, what other kinds of materials would you guys want from us? Because, I am so happy. I was a chapter president. I know how much, you have to make one more flyer. Oh, I have to make another PowerPoint presentation. It gets kind of redundant. So I would have loved to have those templates when I was the president. So I was just wondering, I'm happy to make them, but I want you guys to actually use them if we're going to go through the effort of making them. So is there anything else that you guys feel like you need from us?
We used them we used one for our Move to Change Day to promote our free popcorn and movie night. And then we also used it when we were trying to collaborate with another organization on campus. We had used the PowerPoint presentation to kind of show them what we're about and how we want to collaborate.
Nice. Yay, I'm glad you used them. Woohoo!
Is there anything social media specific that you would all like to see? So, for example, we do these monthly theme graphics that we've been putting in the form of cover photos. Do you feel like you could benefit from something else along those lines? But I don't know. And any ideas that you all have? Okay.
Kenzie, not to put you on the spot, is there anything that could help us with our Facebook or Instagram?
Not that I can think of right now, off the top of my head. I like the cover photos that you guys give us though, because I like how it switches it up every once in a while, so you don't have the same thing, but I don't know, it's cool.
Would it be helpful? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's nice to have the new cover photo, because then that's another thing that you can share, or to have it promote it more.
Mm-hmm. Would it be helpful to have maybe we send out a picture and maybe once a month I post something on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what have you, that's like very specific to the monthly theme with like a caption that's like says like kind of like sparks a question about the monthly theme. And then if I did that, would you guys share it?
Yeah, for sure.
I think that would be helpful even to start the conversation in the meeting so that they can kind of ponder that before they come to the meeting, see it, and then we can discuss it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I kind of already do that anyway. I don't know if you guys have looked at those monthly PowerPoint presentations, hopefully, but I try to put questions in there that are geared towards the monthly theme. So I have like one slide on there that's like, this is the monthly theme, and then others like discussion questions based on that. So I'll try to post those throughout the month so that you guys can go ahead and share them right before your general body meeting anyway. But they're all in those PowerPoint slides as well. So those PowerPoint presentations that I'm making go over like any national org events that we have coming up. So like Giving Tuesday or Move to Change Day, that kind of stuff. On top of that, like the monthly theme. So those should be in there as well for you guys to use.
Do you know for the PowerPoint presentations, like if we used it and then we wanted to insert our own slides, is it something that we can try to edit, like if we downloaded it?
Yeah. So when you download it, it downloads as a regular PowerPoint presentation. So I've actually included like, oh, my computer's fell. I've included like 3 blank slides at the end of the PowerPoint presentation that you guys can customize or whatever, and you can even add more slides than that if you find you need them.
Okay.
Yeah, Hannah's pulling it up right now so you can see that the movement is always in there, the theme, discussion questions.
I know that we've pulled it up to look at it as a board, but we haven't necessarily used it in a meeting, so this will be helpful to start using for our meeting.
Yeah. And then you can put your next meeting date, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter all right there.
Nice. Get it, Adele.
Word.
Well, cool. Thank you all for listening to me blab about the importance of our brand. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. But seriously, I know we can't talk about everything just in 45 minutes to an hour. So please shoot me an email, shoot Adele, Kimberly an email. If something comes up where you're considering, oh, we have an event coming up, we would love to have this type of material, we could really benefit from this type of flyer, video, whatnot, let us know, and we'll try to accommodate those things and work with you on a case-by-case basis. But again, if you go to that chapter resources page, you may be able to find what you need to at least get you started. Deal?
Yay! Yeah. Thank you so much, Hannah. For
big round of applause.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow. Thanks, guys. I didn't really tell you who I am. Sorry, but I'm. So I have been the marketing director for a little bit, but I'm here at Indiana University working postgraduate. But I've been a part of Movement Exchange for about 5-6 years now. I started as a member, was an exec board member, then the president, and then now working with the national org. So I've kind of seen all perspectives of this organization. So if you ever have any type of question, holler at me. I'd love to help you.
Yeah, Hannah's a really awesome resource for, she has all that experience behind her, and she's like a marketing social media boss. So I know I go to her with questions. So
thanks, guys.
Use her. She's awesome. Yay. I hope everyone has a great rest of your night and great rest of your week. And we'll see you for the next #MoveExperts webinar, which is in January. So looking forward to it. Woohoo! Yay!
Excellent.
Thanks, Hannah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Ciao.
All right, signing off.